Welcome back to Not Just Numbers, the SBNG experience. I'm Yesenia and I'll be asking all the questions today. Today we're sitting in with Leonardo Algraves, who's been with us for just over a year and has already received a promotion.
Yeah, Yesenia, thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. So Leonardo is here to talk with us about his first year at SBNG, the lessons he's learned, and some advice for anyone who's starting a job at a CPA firm or anyone who's looking to get promoted. Leo, it's great to have you on. Would you care to introduce yourself to our listeners?
Yeah, well, my name is Leonardo. I'm going to be graduating from UTEP pretty soon with a major in accounting and a minor in finance. And hopefully from there, I'll be going into a master's program and getting the CPA as the ultimate goal.
Nice. How exciting. What led you to pursue accounting?
So in high school, I was undecided. Like, I had no idea what to do. And so I had sort of three main interests, I think, that I kind of felt were like college-related kind of things, like something that I could turn into a career. It was music, physics, and business.
Okay.
I know those are random, but
those are
like
very different.
Yeah, those are like the three things. And out of those three, I figured that like the one with the most opportunities or the most security as well, things like that was going to be business. And so that's where I ended up choosing that. I went into business without declaring a major, and you get to do like the intro courses, intro to whatever, management, marketing, accounting, all that stuff. And through it, I kind of felt like going through all the courses, the one that started sticking out to me the most was accounting. Because at first I struggled a little bit with it, but then I kind of started getting better and like it clicked and I started doing pretty well. And I also noticed that like a lot of students that were with me were struggling a little more than I was. Like I was getting better and better and I was doing it like really effortlessly. It was actually one of the classes that I kind of look forward to doing the homework for, and that's a rare thing.
Yeah.
So I guess that kind of helped me choose accounting with like having enjoyed it and noticing that like, okay, maybe I'm pretty good at it through my courses. I think it's the way to go.
I feel like this is a really common story.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody that we've talked to on the podcast are like, you know what, I was going in for something else and took my first accounting class and it was like, wow, it was so cool, it was so easy.
Yeah, I feel like nobody dreams of doing that, but
right.
You just kind of fall into it. Yeah,
yes,
for
of
sure.
course. I'm actually currently taking that class and one of my professors is like, I have converted so many people to do accounting after all. So
yeah.
Shout out to her. She'll actually be on our podcast pretty soon. So.
Oh, really? Nice.
Mm-hmm. So let's start with the background. How did you hear about SBNG in the first place?
Okay, so when I got into accounting at school, I eventually ended up liking it so much that I joined the accounting society at UTEP. It's a student org. Eventually I became an officer, then I became president. And throughout sort of that journey, SBNG kind of held like a relationship with the org where we would do like little events with them and things like that. And even when I became president, I had the chance to kind of work with some of the people here at SBNG. That kind of gave me like an idea of who they were and kind of getting to know them a little bit. And that's really how I heard about it and how I ended up joining is I talked to one of the shareholders. And yeah, I just talked to him and I was like, hey, you know what, I'm interested, what can we do? And then he was like, yeah, just send me your resume, did what I had to do and got the interview.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So what was your first impression of SBNG when you started? Like, how did you feel joining the firm as a new hire?
I mean, it was super new. Like everything, I came from having restaurant jobs. So everything was like crazy different. And so there was like nerves, but also excitement because, it's what I want to go into. So I was like excited about going into it and doing like, working in an office, doing accounting in the real world, all that stuff was really interesting. But I was also kind of nervous. And I guess first impressions, what I noticed, and I do appreciate a lot, is that like everybody was super open about like, if you have any questions, talk to us. Like everybody was super welcoming, super nice. And so that helped a lot with like helping me feel more comfortable. because, as opposed to like being worried and not knowing what I'm doing, I knew that like if I was confused or something, I could ask a question and kind of go from there. So that was my first impression of like nervous and excited, but also I felt a little bit better with the support for sure.
I love that. Yeah, SBNG has the open door policy that we've talked about before
100%.
a few episodes back. So you can ask anyone anything. And that's a really good part about being here. So let's talk about your first year here. How has it been and what stands out to you the most?
It's been pretty interesting. One thing, kind of looking back that I guess I didn't realize when I started is like just how much learning there is. I came in kind of thinking that like, oh, I'm going to get like a week or two of training and then I'm off, I'm going to be doing my thing. But no, it's like every day I'm getting something new that I've never seen before and I have to kind of figure it out and learn it. And so that's constant even, after the year. But through it all, like I mentioned before, it does help a lot that everybody has an open door policy. So there's never a moment where like you go up to somebody and you ask a question and then they say, oh, figure it out. That just like does not happen at all. And so that's really helpful that anytime, I need help or anybody needs help, that whoever you ask is going to do what they can to help you out. So that's really been like the most important things for me so far.
I agree.
Yeah.
So everyone makes mistakes when starting a new job. So what were some of the biggest lessons you learned?
One huge thing that kind of goes into that learning aspect, it's that I'm like deathly afraid of admitting that I don't know what I'm doing. Like I hate it. And so that happens to me a lot where I don't know what I'm doing. When I get assigned something, I'm just like, what is this,
Yeah.
And so kind of figuring out, like getting over that impulse to not say anything and just kind of try to figure it out on my own. That's definitely something that I've done where I kind of get lost because if I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know what I'm doing. And so if I'm stuck there kind of trying to figure it out on my own, then, I might like waste time or just not be as productive as I should be.
Right.
And so I have to kind of just grit my teeth and say, okay, you know what? I don't know what I'm doing. And so that was one thing that's like still an ongoing process of kind of being okay with admitting that I need help, What else? Another thing, kind of staying organized and learning how to stay organized in such a new environment with everything from like, there's a habit that we have here of always having something to take notes on. Like everybody's got like a little notebook. And when I first came in, that was like a little culture shock for me because I'm used to like in a restaurant, you're not going to carry around a notebook and go to meetings and stuff like that. So that was like, oh, what's going on here? I got to take notes and then I got to keep track of my notes, things like that. Keeping track of assignments as well. It's been a pretty good journey so far. Yeah.
I agree. So I guess that kind of leads us to the next question. What are any recommendations that you have for someone who's looking to start a job at a CPA firm, especially here at SBNG?
Definitely, when you're coming in, sort of don't expect to hit the ground running, It's a long learning process, it's a very technical job. So, be ready to ask questions. Questions are really important. And sometimes know that, like, you're not going to have your hand held. Like, it is kind of like you're going to get assigned something, and you're going to need to have a look and figure out what you want to ask that question. And keep track of what you learn as well. There's a lot of information that comes in as a new, as a new hire. And keeping track of all that is important so that you don't have to keep asking the same questions because that kind of gets annoying, I'm sure, for, your supervisors and things. So keeping track of what you're doing and knowing that there's going to be a lot of info coming in, it's important.
Right, I love that. So Leo started here as an intern, and congratulations, you've already received a promotion.
Thank you.
So what do you think helped you stand out, or what are some things that helped you move up?
What I hope it is that I did always try to be dependable when it came to getting assigned to multiple things. So like I kind of always care about having whoever's going to assign me something to do, that they can tell me, hey, you know what, this needs to be done, and like they don't have to tell me again, or they don't have to like follow up. Like they know I'll do it, and I'll keep them updated, and like I'll keep that communication going. And that too, like the communication, has been something that I've needed to learn how to manage in this sort of environment. But keeping in touch with the people you're working with, so that we're all on the same page, is important. Kind of keeping that professional side. I try not to waste too much time with like, you know, chatting or things like that.
Right.
So hopefully something along those lines, but at the end of the day, who knows? So I did something right.
I agree. I
Yeah.
mean, you're not lying. He is very minimal on chitter chatter.
Yeah.
My job here is to like walk around and talk to everybody, ask you about your day, get to know you, and I go to Leo and I'm like, hey Leo, how are you? He's like, good.
I'm like, hey, yeah, good morning.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
Congratulations again on the promotion.
Thank you.
So
Appreciate that.
yeah, you deserved it. So we want to introduce a new segment to our podcast where it's kind of like a rapid round of questions, where I'm going to ask you maybe 3 to 5 questions.
All right.
I'm going to ask them to you, shoot an answer.
Okay.
Ready?
All right.
All right.
That works.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Good one. Morning person or night owl?
Definitely night owl.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite cuisine?
Either Asian or Mexican.
Ooh.
Any Asian. Any Asian is good.
All right. Favorite SBNG tradition or event?
I like the social outings that we do, like the after work
Yeah.
social outings.
Happy hours?
Yeah, that's where I get the chit-chatting.
Yeah, that's where the
Yeah.
conversation comes out. And what's the most used app on your phone?
Definitely Spotify.
Okay.
I love music all the way.
Nice. Perfect. So that concludes our rapid fire question segment. I hear and see that you like to travel
Yeah.
a lot. So can
Uh-huh.
you share one of your most memorable travel experiences?
This question's always tough, because I get asked often, like, what's your your favorite place, or your most something? And whenever I have to give one answer, I always feel like I'm doing a disservice to the other experiences I've had.
Right.
So I'm gonna pick one, but I feel pretty bad about like not telling you about the others. I could sit here for an hour and tell you about stuff. I think one of the most memorable moments was in Iceland.
Ooh.
I recently went to Iceland. I think it was like mid-November last year. I was out there, and I was out there with a couple of friends just for a weekend. And we had rented a car. We were driving around, and we were kind of not sleeping. Like every day we would go to sleep maximum 2 hours,
Oh no.
because we would go out late at night, and everything is super far in Iceland. It's like Texas, where they say everything is far. So we would drive out of the capital city. I think it's Reykjavik. I might be wrong on the pronunciation, but Reykjavik.
Okay.
We would drive out, and we'd be looking for the Aurora Borealis. And we would go out and kind of see it. We would even meet with little like watch groups, and they would be like, oh, look, there it is, there it is. And we'd be like, okay. There was nothing. There was like a little gray spot, and then they would be like, oh, if you hold your camera up to it, you can see it. And then we did that. It's like, okay, it's a little bit of green. Like, okay, kind of sucks, like.
It's not what you were looking for.
Exactly. It's like, we saw it, but like, It was one day we had driven 5 hours to go to an ice cave, which is really cool, by the way, the ice cave. And on the way back, it was like 11 p.m., driving 5 hours back to the city. I remember I was driving, we were all like passing out, having slept 1-2 hours every night. And then all of a sudden I just saw like a little green strip in the sky, and I was like, oh, like that's gotta be it. And then we were all like, oh, let's stop. And we stopped, we got out, we saw it. A little green strip started like dancing around, and it was super cool. But then, as we were kind of looking at it, it just started expanding and going crazy. Like the entire sky got covered in these like green lights, like above and all the way out to the horizon, green and purple and pink, and it took like hours. Like we were out there for hours just watching it in awe. It was incredible, super incredible. Just seeing it, like it was so much, It was exactly as you'd expect, like from movies or whatever. And then we had like a snowy mountain too. It was incredible to see those lights for real.
Wow.
Yeah.
How beautiful.
Hmm.
That's so cool. So you've done a study abroad program too.
I did.
Where was that?
It was in Paris.
In Paris, that's
Yeah.
true. So what was that experience like, and how did it impact you both professionally and personally?
I loved it a lot. I mean, it always, like, it wouldn't stop sort of surprising or, like, shocking me that I would be in my little, like, apartment, and I'd be like, oh, you know what, I need some eggs for tomorrow morning. Let me go buy some. And I would go out and just see the crazy architecture of Paris. And it's like, oh, all I'm doing is going shopping, and look at where I'm at. Super amazing. And I guess, like, professionally and personally, I was shocked by the amount of, like, learning you can do from other people. Because they always say, like, oh, when you travel, you learn a lot about people and all of this. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll pick something up. But I actually learned, like, a lot, like, stuff that I didn't even know I could learn about people, you know?
Wow.
Yeah, so I met all kinds of people with all kinds of beliefs, all kinds of backgrounds, you know, even all kinds of, like, financial statuses, and kind of seeing how everybody goes about their lives differently kind of made me realize, like, oh, like, my little bubble of, like, my own culture and my beliefs and the people that I know, it's just like a little bubble in, like, a huge sea, and you learn just so much, yeah, outside of school. I gotta be honest, I think I learned more just being out and about and traveling than I did from my classes. Definitely.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
How long was the program? Remind me.
It was 3 months and a little bit.
Okay.
Hmm.
And he was still with SBNG when that happened?
I was, yeah, I took a leave.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was good. So in case you're worried about starting an office job and then doing like a study abroad program, SBNG will work with you.
Very
So,
flexible, for sure.
Very flexible.
I appreciate that a lot, yeah.
We looked forward to having you back because he got back right for busy season.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. So for someone looking to study abroad or travel more, do you have any tips for them? Any advice?
Yeah, I mean, I think the most important thing, like the most important thing, is to know where you're going. I mean, some people like to travel with no plans, and that's fine. Or some people like to, like, mark every hour and know what they're doing. Yeah, me too, to be honest. But regardless of what you're doing, you need to know where you're going. And by that I mean, like, what kind of transportation is there? How are you going to get around? How does the money work? You know, do places accept card and things like that? And even on top of all that, I think the most important thing is knowing about, like, the local scams. Because a lot of places have scammers, especially, like, touristy spots, of course, and they get pretty creative. So if you don't know how to spot them, you know, it's easy to get tricked. It really is. So, you know, staying ahead of that and knowing, even if you don't make any plans, at least know about the scams, I feel like, is pretty important.
Study up before you study
Study
abroad.
up for real. Hmm. Very important.
So if you could pick one destination to revisit, just one, what would it be?
Oof, just one. You know, I'm tempted to, like, cop out and just say, like, Europe, but no,
Okay.
I'll be more specific. I think Paris. I was there for 3 months, and I feel like I still missed out on a lot of things to do.
Wow.
Hmm.
All right, Leo, so this has been so much fun. Thank you again for joining us on our podcast. Before we wrap up, any last piece of advice for someone starting at a CPA firm?
Yeah, stay organized with what you're learning and what you need to do, because it's easy to get, like, information overloaded. So stay organized, take good notes, and yeah, Yesenia, thanks so much for having me.
Of course. So thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. This has been another episode of Not Just Numbers, the SBNG Experience, where we dive into accounting, personal growth, and of course, life's little adventures. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at SBNG CPA. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to follow our podcast on your favorite listening platform and hit the little notification bell so that you never miss an update. Catch you next time.
Thanks so much.